Yo, what's up guys? Universal Mastery. So, what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results. Okay? Now, what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is going to be, honestly, it's going to be pretty short, but it's going to be right to the point, and it's going to be something that if you can utilize in your day-to-day life, it is going to provide you tons of value. Okay, what I'm about to share in this video is going to provide you tons of value if you can actually muster up the level of strength, power, wisdom, and understanding to be able to perceive what I'm going to be able to share on this video. Okay, so stay tuned. First thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices that I perform myself, and I teach you how to perform them at the same time so that you get results, okay? As long as you're consistent with it and you do it, and you do it with the mindset that, within time, you will gain success. With whatever practice it is that I have on my Patreon. These are real practices. These are practices that many other people have gotten success from, obviously including myself. That's why I have them on my Patreon. So once again, if you're consistent and you have the right mindset, you will get success. There is no doubt about that. Then the other bit of the videos are going to be geared towards what I like to call educational entertainment. So these videos are going to be very similar to this video. It's going to be very educational. You're going to get a lot of value from it. But it's also something that you can kind of just throw on. If you have your headphones on, you can throw it on, listen to the video, and be entertained at the same time. You're getting value and it's entertaining. You can just listen to it. So these are the videos that I have on my Patreon. Where you're going to be able to find my Patreon is if you go to the description, you're going to click that drop down. It's going to be the very first link at the top. It says my Patreon right next to it. And in order to gain access to the exclusive videos that are not on my YouTube channel, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. And in order to be a tier 2, it literally costs $9.95 a month. And that is literally, if you do the math, that's literally less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there. And that's a fact. Okay, so as you go up in tiers, the benefits obviously go up as well. You can check that out for yourself. And with that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link. Huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Huge shout out to you, sending lots of powerful energy your way. Other than that, let's go right into this. So once again, as I said, this is not going to be like a crazy long video like most of my videos. Most of my videos are typically like 30 minutes to an hour long. This one's going to be very straight to the point, but it's going to be something that's really important and very powerful to understand, if you can apply it. Alright, and once again, obviously, if I'm talking about it, this is something that I've applied myself and I've seen how it works when I utilize this. So, take that for what it's worth. This is true. This really does work if you can use this, okay? If you can understand this, okay? That's the word I want to use. If you can understand what I'm about to share with you, this will provide you so much value, and it can even shift your state of mind, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking to shift the way you perceive the world so that you can align further into a version of yourself that is more balanced and that can bring more success into your life according to how you view success, okay? So this is the message. You want, whoever is watching right now, you want to be able to see, okay? You want to be able to see the god or goddess, and this is not woo-woo, this is very real what I'm about to say. You want to be able to see the divinity, the spirit, once again, the god or goddess in those around you. Okay? So you want to be able to see that divine spark, that spirit, that God or goddess in the people around you. And the truth is, the way that energy works is that when you tune into that perspective where you're looking to see the God and the goddess in others, you will actually channel that. You will actually get that from other people. But the only way you're going to be able to access that is if you shift your mindset, or if you shift your perspective to want to see that out of others, which is not comfortable at first, because you're going to have to open up and you're going to have to be willing to see that in others. Even when you come across people that you normally would label as, oh, they're not worthy, or oh, these people don't have any advice to give me, or I don't like this kind of person, I can just tell the way they act and the way they dress, I'm not going to get along with this person. You've got to take that and throw that to the fucking side and get over your own self-importance. If you really want to walk this path, this is the path of power, this is the path of true wisdom and true understanding and true knowledge. You have to let go of your own self-importance to then be able to see the divinity, the God or the goddess in other people. Because as soon as you can do that, you are always going to have an ability to extract that from others. You're always going to have a very powerful ability to turn every experience that you interact with in your day-to-day life into a very meaningful experience. And this is not, once again, this is not woo-woo. This is not some like, oh, pretend kind of shit. This is utilizing science, and this is a very deep understanding of the occult principle that has been utilized for many different ancient cultures, called as within, as without. As without, as within. If you can cultivate within yourself the open-mindedness and the desire and the intention to want to turn your life into a divine, very meaningful experience, then that is the exact reality. That is the exact reality that you will create for yourself on a day-to-day basis. And as soon as you can tune into that state of mind where you're like, you know what, I'm going to be open-minded and I'm going to communicate with my reality around me, knowing that if I'm coming from the right place, if I'm coming from the right state of being, then my reality is going to tune itself towards what I am and towards what I am projecting and feeling and being. As soon as you can do that, you are now connecting with something that is much higher, something that is raising your frequency, raising your energy, and making sure that your life experience is happening exactly the way that it needs to happen. Now, this can be looked at in a very shamanic perspective. So we look at shamans, real ancient, powerful shamans. These are people that didn't necessarily have all the step-by-step occult sciences. These weren't the types of people that would tell you the exact science of what was going on a number level, like breaking things down to numerology, gematria, science. They didn't really do that. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Can you learn about that? Of course you can. And that can offer a lot of value if you're someone that understands the science of the occult, because you can approach it from a science perspective. But for a shaman, these were really powerful people that had massive amounts of occult power, but they didn't really, once again, they didn't really focus on the science of it. They just focused on the intuition of it. They focused on the within aspect of it. They focused on the, if you can align yourself, your inner being, with what is in your best interest, with balance, with what is known as source, which is what streamlines through everybody. It's the energy that runs through every single person. If you can align your awareness on source. Some people call it God, but it's source. If you can align your awareness on that, that means every experience that you have is divine. And every single experience that you have is actually meant to happen and is in your best interest and can teach you something very deeply about yourself, because you're tuning in, you're drawing your awareness towards that part of your own being that runs through everything else in the world, and it's directly aligned with evolution. So that's why I say source. When you draw your awareness to source, which means when you draw your awareness towards we're all connected, which means there is the opportunity that every single interaction that you could possibly have, every single experience that you could possibly have is actually teaching you something about you. When you align with source and you come from that perspective and you have that understanding, that's exactly what it is. And you recognize that. This is what the most ancient shamans throughout history, I mean thousands of years ago, understood. And obviously when they had their tribes, when they were in tribes, they were in different groups, different cultures, different societies. These people were looked up to in their circles, in their tribes, in their cultures. These were people that had that understanding that was so powerful that when you were around them, you could feel that understanding that they had. You could feel their knowledge. You could feel their power. You could see that what they believed and what I'm sharing with you about connecting with source, drawing your awareness to that, and seeing reality as you could say a machine for your own evolution, meaning every single experience that you have is in your best interest. When you were around a shaman that had that understanding, you could see the world around you from his perspective. That's how powerful their energy was from his or her perspective. That's how powerful they were, how effective they were. And from that, that's how other people learned how to tune into that ability within themselves. Is from these ancient shamans that had this understanding and had this knowledge. And obviously others that didn't really tune into it the same way that a shaman would, they would ask questions. How do you understand what you know? Why do you know what you know? Is this real? And they would ask questions and the shaman would provide answers accordingly. And then it's not that the shaman was trying to prove that he or she was right. He let reality, he let the universe, she let reality, the universe, the world around them prove that it was real. Okay? So that's where I'm going to leave it at. This is the message, okay? If you got anything out of this video, this is what I want you to understand. Your inner being is creating your current reality. Okay? That's very important to understand. As within, as without. Ingrain this in your mind. As within, as without. As within, as without. As without, what's going on around you, as without, as within, is reflecting what's happening inside. So what's going on around you is what you're currently feeling on the inside, whether you believe it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. So that means if you're living a life that you don't want to live, if you feel like you don't like what's going on, or if you feel lost and you don't understand what's going on, that means you need to do some inner work. That means you need to start diving into trying to want to figure out what's going on. That's the first step, is set your intention on realizing, you know what, stuff isn't where I want it to be right now. It's been like that for a long time. Let me start a journey. Let me start looking inwards. That's where it starts. There's a whole process to it after that, but that's where it starts and that's where you need to go. But remember, when you can align with that understanding that you are creating your reality, which means that you can literally extract and pull the divinity out of your life experience. That's exactly what you can do, but you do it. Meaning you have to come from the right perspective, the right mindset to be able to do that. So when you view every single person as an opportunity to learn something new about yourself and where your path is headed, that is exactly what will happen. And you will find yourself, one, enjoying life a lot more. to having amazing experiences that touch you on a deep level, that stay with you, and actually, quite frankly, become a part of you, because your life turns into an actual journey, meaning everything is working out in your best interest. Every person that you come in contact with has a specific piece of that puzzle, a fragment of that puzzle that you need to put in to your masterpiece, okay? When you come from that perspective, everything works out in your best interest, okay? That's where I'm gonna leave this video. If you like what I was talking about, definitely hit the thumbs up. Then hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I post videos as often as I can. And once again, if you want to join the Patreon, where you're gonna be able to find it is when you click the description, it's gonna drop down. You're gonna see the Patreon at the first link right there. It says My Patreon. Then the second link below that is gonna take you to the Facebook community. You're gonna click that link. You'll see a private group. It'll say private group right here. Click that, request to join the private group. What I do on there is I post in the form of written and in the form of pictorial quotes. And once I get 50 people in there, I'm going to be posting, consistently. So definitely make sure you check that out. Other than that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Remember, apply what I'm talking about. This video is pointless if you're not applying it. Okay? Other than that, once again, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.